Hi guys, Pete here from Scoot Masters. How are you guys going today? I'll tell you what, I'm pretty excited, and I'm going to tell you for why. I'm coming down off a high. We have spent the entire day today shooting the video review on the brand new Valtrium Pro Plus. Let's talk about this big bad boy right here behind me. This is the latest offering from Valtrium. Now, a lot of you may not have heard of Valtrium scooters, but Valtrium are actually an Australian-based company out of Melbourne. A couple of young guys having a go down there. They've been around for 5 years, and these boys are really making some inroads. Now, let's have a little bit of a talk about the specs.
The Valtrium Pro Plus takes exploring on a scooter to all new levels. Many new scooter owners comment how owning a scooter has opened up so many possibilities to explore and see places like they've never seen before. The guys at Valtrium know this and have gone to great efforts to develop the Pro Plus with your comfort in mind. Starting with a spring-loaded seat for those long journeys, comfortable handles with integrated throttle to decrease wrist fatigue, ergonomic controls allowing you to easily reach and access controls without removing your hands. Plus, an incredibly large display positioned center stage that you can actually read in the middle of the day. When it comes to safety, the guys at Valtrium have got you covered, with motorcycle-style hydraulic braking offering immense stopping power when needed, a linear speed controller for smooth acceleration to stop those horrible jerky takeoffs, cruise control, allowing you to set a comfortable speed as you explore your surroundings. Chunky 13-inch tyres so you're firmly planted on the road. LED projector headlight so you can see clearly when day becomes night. But most importantly, a quality constructed steel frame with chunky welds, metal spacers, a sturdy kickstand and more, you can feel confident this machine is built to last. When it comes to touring Australia, especially off the beaten path, you're often faced with large hills. And the last thing you want to be doing is getting off your comfy seat and walking your scoot up the hill. Well, thank goodness the Valtrium Pro Plus is fitted with an in-house designed mid-drive motor with a rating of 3,000 watts, with a peak performance of 6,000 watts. Yes, you heard that right, 6,000 watts. Couple that with the 60-volt system and a whopping 100-amp controller, and you have yourself the power needed to scoot up the most demanding of hills. But of course, Australia is ginormous, and there's just so much to explore. Once again, the guys at Valtrium have got you covered, offering the optional 50-amp-hour battery with an incredible range of up to 150 kilometres. And when you finally do run out of electrons, the mighty charger will charge your Pro Plus up in a matter of hours. You'll be back on those trails in no time. The Valtrium team really have gone to great lengths to design a scooter that is worthy of tackling Australian conditions. Now it's back to Pete with his overview and thoughts on the Valtrium Pro Plus.
Thank you very much, Miss Zoe. And I tell you what, how much fun was that shooting that video? I got to tell you, gang, I actually, once the shoot was finished, I didn't want to get off the scoot. I didn't want to stop riding it. I wanted to keep on going. All right, guys, let's talk a little bit about my thoughts on this scoot. Righto, so just to reiterate on some of the specs. They come with 3 different battery sizes. Now, this is pretty impressive. They ship with the standard battery, which is a pretty impressive 30-amp-hour battery. Lithium-ion, of course. But they're also available with a 40-amp-hour battery, and they're also available with a whopping 50-amp-hour battery. Oh, my God. Now, they state on the website that the 50-amp-hour battery should give you close to 150 kilometres range. Ooh, I'd like to see that. But ours has got the 30-amp-hour battery. Now, we're not having any issue getting 60 to 70 kilometres range out of the 30-amp-hour battery. And I think that actually that would suffice for most people. Now, just a little bit more about the fact that it is a seated scooter. Now, the boys from Valtrium, I love these fellas. They're just a couple of young fellas out of Melbourne having a go. They've been going 5 years, so they've been around for a good while. but they are targeting the seated scooter market. Now, if you've never ridden a scooter with a seat on it, you probably should try one. My initial experiences with seats on scooters wasn't great because the seats were really thin, narrow, and crappy and got right up the crack of your butt. But this one is nice, big, fat, and wide. It's so comfortable even for my big, fat ass, let me tell you. So comfortable even after hours of riding. And of course, your knees, well, what can I say? Your knees are not getting worked at all. So your knees, if you've got bad knees, a seated scooter may be the way to go. Now, just a little bit more about these motors. The great thing about having mid-drive motors that run on a chain is that you can actually quite easily customize the sprockets on the rear, and it's a fairly simple job. There's 3 different sprocket sizes available for these, and they will affect the torque and the top speed. Now, once again, they're shipped with the middle of the road sprocket, which will give you still incredible torque, let me tell you. The torque is addictive. That's the only word that I can use to describe it. So they'll give you very, very good torque and a top speed on private property, of course, of 72 kilometres an hour, which is plenty fast enough. Now, there's also a touring sprocket available, which will give you a little bit less torque, but a top speed of up to 90 kilometres an hour. Wow. And then there's a large sprocket, which will give you stacks and stacks and stacks of torque, limit the top speed to about 45, but that would be an absolute weapon. We haven't tried one of those yet, but I would say 0 to 45 would be in like a 15th of a millisecond. I really like the build quality of this scooter. I really like the way that the controls are laid out. The cruise control, I found myself just gravitating towards that a lot. It's just so easy to use, so intuitive, and then you can just cruise along doing your 25 kilometres an hour, having a look at the beautiful scenery. Guys, there's also an app coming out for these. There's a Bluetooth app in development. Now, we currently have the prototype of the app, I guess you'd call it, the beta version, and it actually works very well. And you can get in to the scooter settings using that app, and you can adjust a myriad of things, including your top speed, your torque, your regenerative braking, heaps of stuff like that. So that app is being released to the general public in coming weeks. Pretty handy thing to have, which means if one of your kids want to get on and ride this, you can just jump into the app and just wind all the settings way down. But then if you want to go for a spirited ride, you can crank the bastard right up, which is what we did, of course. I just love it. I love it. You know, there's nothing bad I can say about it. I was trying to come up with something bad to say about the scooter, and I guess, well, one thing did happen the other day. I had it out in the front yard and we were taking some photos of it, and the neighbour was walking past with their dog, and the dog actually took a bit of a liking to the scoot and had a sniff around it and had a piddle on the back wheel. Oh no, don't buy one, don't buy one. Dogs love them or hate them. I tell you what, there's not much not to like. Now, they are a heavyweight scooter. They're 52 kilo, which puts them on par with a 011X. I can lift this into the back of my truck, but I would recommend a 2-man lift for these, realistically. You can lift the back wheel up first and then pick the front up and drag it in that way. And, there's a lot of people, a lot of members in our group that ride those big, heavy, sort of 50-odd kilo powerful scooters, and they tend to be able to get them in and out of their vehicles okay. The one good thing I will say about the extra weight, though, is that the thing rides very, very stable. Now, one thing that did impress me with this scooter is that you can cruise along at a pretty good pace and come to a corner and you can just lean it into the corner. You don't have to slow down, just lean it into the corner and away they go. Just nothing I can really knock it. Build quality is sensational. The components are all metal. Massive kickstand. Good seat. Headlight that works. Loudest horn in the country. Do you want to have a listen to it? How loud's that? Another thing I love about this company, Valtrium, is that they carry a huge range of spare parts, and they also have backup service that I've never really experienced before. So when we first got this scooter, we've had it about 3 weeks now, and we've been field testing it. I had quite a few questions that I wanted to know answers to, just regarding how to change some settings and how to do a few other things on the scoot. And you can ring them and they will answer the phone. Oh my God, I'll answer the phone. Or if you send them a message on Facebook, they basically reply within an hour. You just don't get that sort of service from, scooter retailers, and, they're just trying to do everything right. Another one of the things I love about this scoot is that the drivetrain, motor, all that running gear, quite a bit of the electronics has all been designed right here in Australia. Now, once again, you don't see that very often either in scooters. Most of them are just pumped out of Chinese factories by the thousands, and what you see is what you get. Now, like every scooter that you buy, it's always a good idea to go around all the nuts and bolts and Allen screws and nip everything up and make sure everything's tight. And that doesn't matter what brand of scooter you buy. It's imperative that you do that before the first ride. And then regularly, every couple of rides, make sure you just nip around and make sure everything's tight. Something else worth mentioning, these huge big 13-inch wheels on this thing, the tyres only run at 24 PSI. So they are nice and cushy, nice and smooth. And running 24 PSI in the tyres, combined with the beautiful suspension on these things, gives you a ride to die for. Honestly, it's like you're riding on a cloud. Yep. We love it. All right, guys. So at this point in time, available exclusively from valtrium.com.au. Now, I do think they do have some other resellers around the country, but you guys can check that out. But let's talk about the price. You get a 30 amp hour battery. You get a motor that peaks at 6,000 watts. You get a top speed of around the 70 kilometre an hour mark. They'll carry loads up to 150 kilograms. I'm only 100, but it carried my fat ass around fine. And guys, these things come in at under $3,500. Yep, you heard me. And not only are they under $3,500, they are well under $3,500. Hey, we often talk about bang for buck when we're talking about scooter reviews, but you simply can't beat that. I would like to see any other scooter in that price range that would have as much torque and as much top speed, and certainly as much fun factor as this thing's got. Righto, guys, do yourselves a favour. Jump on the website, check them out, have a look at them. Any of you that ride with us, that ride with Scootmasters, this scooter will be available for test rides on pretty much every ride. Now, that's assuming that you can get me off it, because I do like it. Like it. We love it. Righto, guys, do yourselves a favour. Valtrium.com.au. Check out the boys. Check out the scooter. Come on one of our rides if you're Brisbane based. I like them. We love it. Go out and get yourself one. Hurry up.
Valtrium. www.valtrium.com.au